With Hashem's loving grace, this is your host, Lazer Brody, here at emunahbeams.com and lazerbeams.com. I have an amazing story to tell you about something that happened on the 7th of October in Ofakim in the south of Israel, pretty close to the Gaza border. It's a town in the south of Israel, close to the Gaza border. And this true story happened to a geriatric nurse. Her name is Lillian Beaton, and she's a Shomer Shabbat. But since she's a nurse, and she works with people, her entire work is saving lives. She has a biblical dispensation to work on Shabbat because she saves lives. And she was also, the rabbis permitted that she get on the bus to pick her up on a special shift and early Shabbat morning. It was October 7th, it was Shabbat and Simchat Torah. And the bus came by very early in the morning, about 6:30, 6:45. And she came down to the bus with a cup of hot coffee in a paper cup. And all of a sudden, she felt something burning her hand, and she found a little hole in the cup. So what she did, she ran back up into her apartment right close to the bus stop and wanted to change the cup so she shouldn't lose her cup of coffee. Meanwhile, while she ran back, she heard shooting in the street. And she looked out of her window, and she saw the street was full of terrorists. Terrorists from Gaza, they swarmed the town of Ofakim. Well, she locked herself in the house, and she went into her mamad, her shelter, locked herself in the room, spent the next 8 hours in there, and really terrorists took over the town until special forces of the border police came in and freed. There was a 24-hour battle, and before the town was freed. And she found that saved her life. But have to look at what saved her life. It was a paper cup that saved her life. And to look at the tremendous divine providence, the divine direction, the exact precision, divine direction that Hashem did to save her life by way of a paper cup, that nothing escapes Hashem. Just imagine a company that produces paper cups. Okay, they have this what they call a sleeve of paper cups, and maybe there's about 20 sleeves in a carton, and each sleeve has about 50 paper cups, and all these cartons go in the supermarket. Well, Hashem determined that a particular carton of paper cups would go to a supermarket in Ofakim, and that Mrs. Beaton would buy paper cups in that supermarket, and then she'd use them. She'd take the paper cups out of their sleeve, and maybe it was the 9th paper cup that she used that Shabbat morning, and Hashem determined that her family would use 8 cups before her, and she'd get to the 9th cup. And Hashem determined that during manufacturing, this particular cup would have a tiny little microscopic hole in there that quality control wouldn't get. And this would go into the particular cups that would go back into the sleeve, that would go back into the carton, that would come to Ofakim, that would come in and eventually save Mrs. Beaton's life. Because were it not for that hot coffee that dripped through, tiny drips in that paper cup that burned her hand, she would have gone back up to her apartment. And if she would have stayed down in her apartment another 60 seconds, the terrorists would have caught her. They would surely killed her like they did another 100 people, 105 people, I think it was in Ofakim, that they murdered. And all of a sudden, 1,200 people murdered in the south of Israel on that infamous October 7th. It's a modern-day Holocaust. And just to stop and think about how everything is under Hashem's complete precision, micro-precision, divine direction. It's amazing where a paper cup can save a life. And that's Hashem determines it. If a paper cup can save a life, then a broom can shoot and anything. That's what we say in Tehillim, Eile v'rechev ve'eile besusim, v'anachnu b'shem Hashem naskir. We say in Psalm 20 that some people have their chariots. The chariots today is the tanks, and some people have their horses. Horses, their mechanized weapons, and we call out in Hashem. Because this is Hashem's divine direction. This is what sustains us. This is what makes our heart beat, makes us breathe every moment of life. Never forget it, that Hashem is personally involved in every single detail of our lives. So don't ever ask, where's Hashem? We have to open up our eyes and we can see Hashem everywhere. And Hashem should help. There should be miraculous salvations. We share good news and speedily see our rebuilt holy temple and Mashiach in our days. Amen. God bless.